What's going on, everybody? Private Benjy here, and I hope everybody likes that small cinematic intro I made. Today we're going to be highlighting L3W1K. So I'm just going to call him Bob because I'm not going to continue to say L3W1K or Lewick. Who knows? Today we got a pretty good Cromwell replay. I have the Cromwell in my garage right now. And this guy definitely demonstrates quite a few good attributes about the Cromwell with its decent gun depression, slightly decent view range, and as you guys can see, he's pretty good with it, especially long distance sniping like he just did on that 1375. And one of the good things about the Cromwell is that it's a tank that anybody can get. It's a tier 6 medium British tank. It has probably one of the best DPMs for its tier, along with a really decent gun on it. The Vickers high velocity 75mm. So 145 penetration with 135 damage. Not a whole lot of alpha damage, but it just has that good punch for a tier 6. Now you will see tier 8s in this, so you might want to load at least, like what he's done, 14 rounds of premium ammunition to help deal with that, because that bumps you up to 202mm of penetration. Another good aspect of this is a good power to weight ratio, and that's really good. It's around 23 horsepower per ton, along with a really decent tank traverse speed, which when you look at it, it's pretty comparable to the Easy 8 from the American line. And I don't know what this A43 is doing, but Bob there just decides to ram him. Takes him out with one hit. He didn't lose most of his health compared to that guy. So I think he might be running a light spall armor, or he has the crew attribute with the ramming, where you reduce the damage to yourself. And here's where he makes kind of a mistake. He gets hit a couple times, and that's what lowers him down to 47 HP. As you can see, this 1375 don't know what he's doing. Looks like he was trying to get Bob out of the match, but he failed horribly at that, because 1375s just don't have the gun depression for that kind of play. So looks like everybody off to the right was taken care of. That flak bus, and tier 5 Swedish tank destroyer, STRV M4257. I think that's actually the premium version medium tank for the Swedish line. But anyways, back to the match. Bob here is going to show what makes this Cromwell really good. I mean, the gun depression. He's got decent view range, so he can actually go out and snipe. That one looked like it hit. I don't know exactly if it did or not. But he's just continually sniping. They aren't spotting him for some reason, which they must have really, really bad view range. And there's tier 5 French heavy tank, the BDRG-1B. And that thing can pack, that heavy tank can actually pack a nasty punch. I believe it's a 300 HP gun. I haven't gone down the French heavy line whatsoever, but I do have the Cromwell tank, especially because I was in a clan at one point, and they said get a Cromwell because it has the highest DPM. I'm no longer in a clan whatsoever at the moment, but here we are. So Bob, he's already racked up 4 kills so far in the match. And it looks like he's going to continue trying to snipe. There was an archer that popped up off to his right, which is a tier 5 British tank destroyer. But the funny thing about that is it has to drive backwards to attain its top speed. And he's shooting at the Tog. And it did look like he did get that first round off onto him. And he gets his second round into him right there. And so far he's racked up almost 2,000 hit points of damage. So I believe it was the archer that spotted him at that point. So he goes around, tries to he breaks cover. I mean, he doesn't break cover. He breaks line of sight so he can get back into cover a little bit so he's not spotted. Because there are two very nasty German artillery players on the enemy team. The Grill, and the GW Panther. The GW Panther, of course, packs a pretty decent punch. But the Grill, you know, being a tier 5, it'll just decimate him too. So, and it just has to land close. So he goes in, relocates to another position, and his friendly Cromwell teammate decides to YOLO on that and still gets killed by the Tog. Of course, everybody knows Tog does what a Tog does, and that's drive slow and fire a lot. Doesn't have a whole lot of armor on it, but it has the health pool to take a lot of damage. So, and of course he breaks line of sight again, so he can get out of cover, away from the artillery players. So takes a decent shot off onto the ELC there, which used to be one of my most favorite light tanks, and it's not anymore after this latest update. Oh, and there's the archer. See him? Ah, yeah, he's driving backwards. He has to. And it's just him and that OI left on his team, and he takes out the Talk 2. And the OI finally dies to the KV-1. So that just leaves him against 5 enemy tanks. There's KV-1, blind shot. Oh, he got him. Good shot there. And there's a reason why he has 3 marks of excellence on his barrel at the moment. So he's so far at 8 kills. He has 2,400 damage so far. Excellent job, Bob. And of course he breaks cover. He's gonna go back and, I believe at this moment in time, try to find the artillery players. He doesn't know if they're still camped in the back of the map over by the spawn point, which most of them do. And if you see in the messages there, wish me luck. I think he's the last one actually left in the match, so everybody probably left the match at this point. Oh, and there's GW Panther. Oh, and he narrowly misses him. That would have been the ending for Bob there. But, of course, reload. Bob, a lot more maneuverable. He's got the reload. And that's the end of the GW Panther. There's 9 kills, along with 2,800 damage. And there's the fire. There's a shot from the Grill. So far, he's having one hell of a match. For me, I don't know how he does it, but he does. He gets this done pretty well. He makes the enemy team look like fools. So he does a little bit of searching, see if he can spot one of these other tanks. Of course, KV-2 is never going to see him from a mile away. The Rudy, I don't think the Rudy has very good view range either, for being the tier 6 premium T-34 for the Russian line. So he goes back. Maybe he can find the Grill over here in the typical arty hiding place. But, you know, as things go, one of the enemies decides to start capping to maybe get him to come to him, but there's only one tank on the cap at the moment, so you can safely assume that it's definitely not the Grill, because the Grill is very slow. The KV-2 is also very slow. So which tank do you think is on the cap point at the moment? I personally don't think it's a very smart decision of the enemy team to be doing that. And of course the KV-2 is not going to see that. These shots coming in from Bob. And he tracks him. Oh, he gets a low damage roll. Actually, that's actually kind of high, because the average damage is 135. So he almost took him out with that second shot, but, you know, 4 hit points. And of course he finishes off the KV-2. So That leaves 2 enemy tanks. He's up to 10 kills. Over 3,000 damage now. So, thinking about it, the T-34 is on the point. I believe he was sitting at very low health, maybe an easy one shot. And I like the fact that he's, you know, he broke line of sight and ran away. Now he's going to come around and come around onto the other side of the map, because maybe the T-34 was pointing his gun in the other way, hoping that Bob would come that way, but I don't think he is. I guarantee you, if he's already capping, he's going to be looking the other way. Can we get that lucky? I hope so. Bob here, of course, showing his skills for the match, and yep, gun pointed the other way. And he better get out of there quickly before artillery gets a shot in. Oh, he almost bit the dust there with the gorilla. With that 33 hit points, it's so close. Luckily, it only, you know, caused track damage, and of course, you know, he lost a little bit of health, so he's down to 14 health. That grill only has to sneeze in his general direction to take him out of this match. And of course, being as maneuverable, he's definitely got a decent top speed. He definitely knows which way that the grill shot from, so he's gonna come over here and try to find him. Maybe the artillery player's quaking in his boots a little bit, if he has boots. Where is it? There he is. Get a shot off at him. It misses. And, you know, with the grill, it has a very narrow arc for its gun, so it can't traverse left or right very well without moving the whole tank. So when that happens, that resets the bloom for the artillery player. And he gets the one shot off. Gets the second shot off. And that's the match. 1 versus 5. Bob, well done, man. And of course, he got the Colabanos medal for standing against 5. He got the Pascucci's for killing 2 artillery players. And he got the highly coveted Pools medal for killing 10 enemies on his team. And of course, he got the high caliber and the top gun for his team, along with the mastery badge. And that goes to show, you know, that with a decent amount of luck and a decent amount of skill, you can definitely handle yourself with very low HP against your enemies. As you can see, he got 3,600 damage, 1,860 base experience points, 12 kills. He fired 39 times, hit 28, only bounced 1, which was on the tracks of that TOG. And over half of his damage, almost half of his damage, was distance of more than 300 meters. He took 3 hits, and of course, he traveled 7.5 kilometers. And being a non-premium player, he made $29,000 in profit. I don't even think he fired 1 premium ammunition round whatsoever. So if he had premium, he would have gotten an extra $20,000 in credits, and also another $3,000 in experience earned. So he did a wonderful job, and that goes to show you what happens when you got skill and the amount of patience that he had. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit like. I'll catch you next time.